The Tao of Self-Confidence, episode 328. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have an amazing lady on the show today. She is the editor for NBC Asian American, and I'm just really excited to have her on and share her story today. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Traci Lee. Traci, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to our listeners.
Thank you. My name is Traci. I define myself really as a writer, but I currently am a journalist, like you mentioned, the editor of NBC Asian America, and just an all-around content creator. I'm just always trying to make new things.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. So, Traci, what's your cultural background?
I'm Chinese American. I was born and raised here in California. I'm currently based in Los Angeles, but my parents were born in Hong Kong.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And Traci, what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
Favorite self-confidence quote. So the little bit of context for this is from Mindy Kaling. I think it was from either one of her books or maybe an interview she did. But she talks a lot about how there's a lot of people out there who are overly confident, but don't really have the work ethic to sort of back it up. And so she has this quote that says basically, work hard, know your shit, show your shit, and then feel entitled. Because there's some people who feel entitled before they actually have proven that they can do the work. But the first thing that should always be a part of your work ethic is just hard work. And that really helps inspire your confidence.
Thanks for sharing that. I totally agree, because there's a lot of people out there who have they look confident, right? But a lot of them just kind of talk to talk and don't do anything about it, right? And it's just this external confidence, not realizing they have to work from the inside, right? Work on themselves, work hard, learn to have that mindset to be positive and be able to keep on going, even if there's things that things that fall apart or you have a bad day. So I really like that quote that you mentioned by Mindy Kaling. I used to love watching The Office because of her, because she was pretty funny.
And on that line of what you're saying, I think that it's so easy to be overly confident, fake it till you make it. And sometimes that works. But I think honestly, if you want to have confidence, self-confidence, you really need to have something to back it up too.
I totally agree. So thanks for sharing that. And Traci, what's your definition of self-confidence?
I think my definition of self-confidence is it's about having faith in your ability to try things. And that means whether it's trying out an idea, a project, maybe a career, whatever it is, it's about knowing that you have the work ethic and the determination and the perseverance to give something a go, even if it doesn't exactly turn out the way that you thought it would. Because I think a lot of times we don't want to try things because we're not confident it will work out. But I think if we're confident in our ability to just try it out, to give our best, and we know that we can give our best, to me, that's self-confidence.
I like that definition that you mentioned, especially, being an Asian woman. It's we're so afraid to try anything. For the main thing is we're afraid of failure, because we've been programmed from school. It's if you fail, it's the biggest thing you would ever do to shame your parents or your family. And it's you have to realize failure is a part of life, right? Because it teaches us something. It helps us become a stronger person and be more confident and have that courage to keep on trying regardless of what happens, right? I mean, Thomas Edison found 10,000 ways for a light bulb not to work. I mean, if he can go through that, we should be able to go through it no matter what happens, especially if we believe in what we do. So I really love that definition that you mentioned. And Traci, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
I feel in so many ways, I'm still trying to figure out self-confidence, because I feel that it's always this work in progress. I will feel confident, super confident one day, and then the next day or whatever, because maybe my circumstances change or maybe something happens, I kind of lose that confidence. So I feel I'm always going back and forth between discovering new levels or new avenues of self-confidence. And I think in those in-between periods, when I'm not feeling super confident, I just try to remind myself, I talk to my family a lot, I'll talk to my friends, and I just try to remind myself that it's all a process and we're all kind of on that journey together. And I find a lot of inspiration from talking to other women, especially Asian American women, about the same struggles, because I think that we all kind of encounter that.
Thanks for sharing that. And it's so true, right? Like a lot of women out there, especially Asian women, they feel like they're by themselves. They don't feel like they're the only ones who go through this, not realizing like everyone goes through this. And I mean, it was one of the reasons why I created this show, is to let people realize like we all go through it, but it's learning to overcome it that makes a huge difference. I mean, was there like a certain aha moment in your life when you realized like you can be the person that you are today, be more confident, and have that courage to try anything, no matter what the circumstances are?
I was thinking about this recently for, just in my own blog. I often think about these kind of topics a lot. And, my freshman year in high school, I was really into drama. I did a lot of theater. And I had this drama teacher in high school who encouraged me to sign up to audition for an advanced drama class for the next year. And she kept telling me, oh, you should sign up and you're so great. And to me, I thought that meant I had it in the bag, like, because this teacher who was determining who was going to be in the class kept telling me to do it. And she wasn't encouraging a lot of people to audition. So I kind of prepared a monologue. I went into the auditions and I totally bombed it. Like, I barely rehearsed it because I just went in really cocky and sort of thinking like, oh, I have this teacher's confidence in me and that's enough. And obviously it wasn't. I messed up the audition. I didn't make the class. And it was really one of those moments where I was like, oh, it's not enough for somebody else to have confidence in me if I can't back it up as well. And like, it's a lesson that I feel like once you hear it, it's like, duh, of course. But I think going through that, and I was 14, 15 years old, thinking that I was very confident in my abilities, but I really wasn't. I was sort of coasting off of somebody else's confidence in me. And that's not self-confidence. And that's not something that you can really sustain to help you in your career, in your life.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think, sometimes our ego gets in the way, right? Like when you mentioned your teacher, told you to sign up, you just thought you had it, right? And then when you went up, you probably felt like, oh my God, what did I just do?
I definitely thought it was like, oh, I'm totally set. I don't need to even try, but that's not the case.
Yeah. And, sometimes things don't work out as how you see it, right? But I mean, all these things happen for a reason. That happened for you because you realize like, you got to work on yourself to be that, true confident person within you so that it can show later on. And, because of that realization, what's your life been like now?
I think one of the things about realizing that and how it sort of helped me is I am constantly, like I said before, realizing that self-confidence is a continuing work in progress. Like I'm not confident one day and then set for life just because I have a little bit of confidence in me. I think that process of kind of failing and going through that is like, I realize I'm still flawed. I still need to work hard. Having confidence doesn't make that all go away. I just now have that knowledge of, how to find ways to regain that self-confidence and maintain it and, make sure that I don't fall into those traps of relying on other people to give me my self-worth, essentially.
Thanks for sharing that. And it's great when we can learn from our mistakes and just learn to improve ourselves based on that. I mean, the past is there to teach us a lesson and to improve ourselves versus on always trying to dwell on it. Because I know we're all guilty of it. Well, I've been guilty of it for sure. And it's great when we can realize like, oh, that happened, but it doesn't have to happen again. We can always learn from it and just move on. So thanks for sharing that. And Traci, to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey of self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
I would say make sure you definitely have a support system. I have those one or two friends who I know I can rely on to hear me out when I need to rant about work, projects, or when I feel like a failure somehow. And I know that they know that they can rely on me for the same thing. I think if I didn't have that, I would spend a lot of time wallowing and not really productive in learning from those mistakes that I mentioned earlier. I think having people that you can just sort of vent to is very helpful in order to help you on that journey.
Thanks for sharing that. It's a great tip. I mean, I believe in having a support system. I also have, 2 or 3 girlfriends that I talk to about anything. It doesn't always have to be business. It can be like, I'm having a bad day. I feel like eating ice cream, and that's okay, right? A lot of us feel bad because we do that, but really it's fine, right? Sometimes
it's healthy. It's very healthy.
Yeah. You got to let that go so that, new energy can come in. You can feel better. So great tip that you mentioned. And if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do or check out your blog, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yeah, so you can find me on every social media platform at Traci G. Lee. So it's Traci G. Lee. which is my first, middle initial, and last name. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and any platform. My blog is ctracywright.com.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Traci, you can also head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com and search for Traci's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I just want to thank Traci for taking the time to share her story and tips with us on self-confidence. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Sheena.
Not a problem. It was an honor having you on the show. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. Get your free audiobook by visiting our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.